Osteopathy for babies. Hands-on skills is really key, but so is our knowledge of what happens to baby at birth and birth presentations. And that is what I'm going to cover in this video for you. Vertex, face, brow. 3 presentations that baby may present with during birth. And they're important to know if we're going to treat baby's skull, because different forces will happen with those presentations. Now, there's a lot to birth trauma, and I cannot cover it obviously in this short video, but I just want to give you a little taster of how anatomy can really help you when you put your hands on and treat babies. So let's look at this cranium with regards to the measurements here that we can see for baby's skull. Vertex presentation, the back of the skull, 9.5 centimeters. Moving to the front of the face there, face presentation, also 9.5 centimeters. And then across the top of the skull there, brow presentation, a lot more, 14 centimeters of distance there. So it's kind of quite clear there that we don't want a brow presentation. And often if you get that, baby's going to be in a lot of trouble and they're going to need a cesarean, a C-section. However, if we look at the anatomy there, we'll say, well, hang on, vertex presentation, face presentation, they're both 9.5 centimeters. So why do we prefer for baby to have that vertex presentation? And there's 2 reasons. And the first reason, well, let's think about the back of that skull. Look at this ice cube. Look at the force that goes into it. Boom, it's able to take that force and spread it out because the back of the skull is quite strong. Now, if we contrast that with the face, then the face is much more delicate, and so it's going to experience more trauma if the same force is applied to it as is applied to the back of the skull. But there's far more to it than that, because what happens with a vertex presentation, the forces on the back of the skull means that the baby's neck moves into flexion, and it allows baby to move through the next stage of the birth process far easier with far less force on the cranium as a whole. However, when the baby presents with a face presentation, as we can see here in the diagram, what happens? The neck goes into extension, and you're going to already see the forces not only through the face there, but are going to be exerted back up into that neck and into the rest of the body. And so it's a key aspect here that what happens is, although you can still deliver via presentation, and you will see babies that have been delivered via face presentation, the forces on the body, the forces on the skull, the forces on the face are far greater than with a vertex presentation. So in knowing these different aspects, even though it's only a small aspect of anatomy, a small aspect of the whole thing that can understand in terms of birth trauma, because there's so much to learn, it gives you key insights so that when you put your hands on baby, you can understand why it feels like it does under your hands, why their cranium feels like that, why it's jamming at the CT junction, and it gives you that ability to help them, much more ability to get quick results in terms of helping baby with those problems. Now, if you'd like to learn more about treating babies, just click on the link to the Treating Babies playlist that has videos including clinic footage for you to learn about babies. Additionally, use the button here to subscribe to the channel, because as well as treating babies, there's also lots of technique videos on treating adults.